truth be told, the thing that keeps me motivated is I wanted to become an artist in the past, right? And I wasn't able to achieve that because I think it's not because I realized that I wasn't talented enough, but because I just decided to give up.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Questions with by Quest Ventures, the top venture capital fund in Asia. I'm your host Dorothy, and as promised, I will take us on a tour around Asia's burgeoning startup ecosystem. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Season 2 of Questions with by Quest Ventures. In today's episode, we'll be speaking to the founder of Clockster. Clockster is a HR management platform which makes organization efficient, easy, and accessible. Let's welcome Yerjan. So Yerjan, you're from Kazakhstan, right?
Right.
Tell me more about living there.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here for this podcast. I really appreciate that. Kazakhstan, well, it's a pretty awesome place to live, frankly speaking. I could say it's pretty safe, affordable, and full of opportunities. Even though our country is relatively young, like 30 plus years of independence, we've managed to achieve decent results in IT, like making our e-government, for example, really fast and responsive, which we are trying to actually, steal the ideas from Singapore. I know that for sure. What I mean is, like, for example, it takes only 10 minutes to register a company, for example. It's that easy. Like 1 day to open a bank account, not to mention 100% digitized services for individuals that are available from your mobile app. For example, since this year, I think, you no longer need to carry your physical ID cards. I think from this year, they launched this. You go to the airport, for example, you show your mobile app and show this ID card. So that is more than enough. So you can just leave your this physical cards at home.
Oh, okay. We have that in Singapore too. Yeah.
So summarizing everything, if you have the brains and will to do something in Kazakhstan, it's easier than in many other countries. Of course, Singapore is still at the highest level, but considering that we just recently gained our independence, I think we're doing pretty well. In Kazakhstan, it's easier than many other countries, really. Yes, it's the corruption is still there. However, mostly it happens in the government area. In the private sector, it's way better. If we don't take into consideration large corporates, you might face some corruptions, etc. But still, it's way better than it was 10 years ago. And Kazakhstan is trying to become a place of diversity, first of all, in terms of ethnicities. If you go to Kazakhstan, you will see different faces: Asians, Europeans, Caucasians, any type of people. And nowadays, I know that the government also pushes people to learn English as a third main language. So I believe in the next 5 years, the majority of people, especially the younger generation, will speak English. So it will be a perfect place to stay. I love Kazakhstan. I hope to see you guys there, by the way, someday.
Yeah, someday. Part of our team is right there. It is there right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
When is that? Yes.
Yeah. Wow. It really sounds like a land of diversity and opportunity, which makes it very apt to be an innovation hub. Yeah, there it is. So then, can I ask, how has your background shaped your entrepreneurship approach?
Well, I think that my background is not really what other big entrepreneurs would have to succeed. But I studied design in Italy, by the way, industrial and current transportation. It's not what other HR founders usually study. Usually they study finances, human resources related things, but in my case, it was design. Because actually I wanted to become a designer. Always thought I'd become a great artist / designer. But after 2 years of intense studying, I admitted to myself that I'm not as talented to continue in design. I actually could continue, but then I would become an average type of designer who would struggle to find my own paths in this life, not feeling satisfied. So I decided to go back home and start from scratch, something new. In 2013, I joined my friend, Aazon, who was running an IT company in the oil and gas industry. He was real crazy hustler, getting $1 million contracts, spending them and making more. he was the type of a person who could risk everything he had, but always managed to win eventually. That kind of mindset I fell in love with. I like learning one important lesson. In Russian language, it sounds like who do not take risks, don't drink the champagne. Кто не рискует, тот не пьет шампанское. So, and I like this kind of mindset. So this is how I was able to build my background.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great quote. I've never heard of that before. Yeah. I didn't know that your background was in design, but it makes sense why, especially Clockster's branding is so well done. And I'm sure that really shaped your thinking. Yeah. So maybe, I guess, the design thinking skills that you may have learned in school to really like problem solve. Is that something that you feel had a part to play?
100%. Definitely that really helped me to shape my mindset as well. And like the way I see the things in terms of UI and UX. I can't say that we are like perfect, but I would say that we are at a pretty high level considering the resources that we had to build this. We have like one of the best looking UIs, I think, in the HR industry, like the HR startup ecosystem. So yeah, definitely a design background really helped me a lot.
Yeah, it all seems very simple and intuitive, which therefore makes onboarding very quick as well. Yeah, so tell me more about Clockster. So what's the story behind it? How did the team come together?
Well, the story of Clockster starts like from the company I mentioned above. Not us yet. There was another company called Americana Group, and there was a guy called Mr. Badawi, who contacted me in November 2015, like asking if we can develop like a system for them, time and attendance integrated with the fingerprint devices for all their restaurants, approximately like 60 at that time they were. Like now they have like over 100 restaurants in Kazakhstan. And they didn't want to buy like existing solutions as they wanted to have like a fully customized and integrated into their ERP system. So at that time, I think they used Oracle, right? It was Oracle, not SAP. It was Oracle. And we agreed. It took us 3 months to finalize the pilot and get the contract. In June 2016, we managed to deploy the system in 2 major cities in Kazakhstan and received our first money, like building this HR system for them. We were working with their HR admins shoulder to shoulder, like gaining the experience about how actually this thing should work for large corporates. Yeah. And that time, beside me and my co-founder Sunil, there were like 2 other guys, partners, Arman and Sunny, who are currently our co-founders too. Arman is he's our CPO right now, and Sunny, he's our senior Flutter developer. The product that we developed was, so successful, as we thought, and we received really good feedback from Mr. Badawi, the IT guy, the IT manager of the Americana Group. So we decided to switch our focus and develop a new one and spread it in our country, because at that time there were no existing solutions in Kazakhstan, like the made in Kazakhstan. So we decided like, let's be the first ones. So at that time, as I said, like there were no significant competitors. So we thought that's our chance. However, we couldn't start immediately, like as we needed money to run the company and had to take other, contracts to generate some cash while we were looking for investors, because we were a group of people who had to, eat something because we were not really regular startup guys at that time, because we were more like freelancers, grabbing different types of contracts, building the software for different companies, and we didn't have this startup mindset. So in 2017, by the way, another guy joined us, Alexei, who is our CTO right now. Also, there was another guy, Iman. Actually, like there were more founders before. In 2017, there was Alexei, there was Iman also. Iman was responsible for marketing. And in 2017, he applied for the competition called Seed Stars Kazakhstan Startup Competition, something like that, organized by a Swiss company. So there we took the first place and received a couple of proposals from investors, and we were able to raise our first angel pre-seed money, like $100,000 US. Then in 2018, unfortunately, like my first partner Sunil, he left the project due to certain reasons, because he was having another company in India. So he decided to focus on that and moved back to Mumbai, India. So he left the project in 2018. Later in 2019, Iman also exited the company. Like frankly speaking, we had conflicts with him. So like these conflicts were related to a vision of the management of the company. So we offered him to buy his shares, and eventually he left the company in 2019. So we are now 4 co-founders running the startups. Me, Alexi, our CTO, Arman, our CPO, and Sunny, our senior Flutter guy.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys it sounds like you guys had mainly freelancing backgrounds.
Yes.
And so Clockster started from a project, and then it evolves into something bigger than you thought it would be.
Exactly. The point is, we were lucky that we were able to get that contract built. Like a fully customized product for a big company with the high standards of the processes in HR, and gaining this experience was crucial. Building Clockster.
I see. Okay, and then was there a moment specifically that you guys realized that you were working on something special?
It was January 2021 when I met a friend of mine from the fintech industry who shared his vision regarding the data that we gather on our platform. Because like mostly we were focusing on F&B and retail with blue collars, and like we gathered information about the blue collars positions, average salaries, contract types, periods, like attendance, like many things. So he offered me to go towards the fintech industry too, and rebuild the architecture of the app to turn it into a blue collar database growth machine, kind of to monetize through financial services rather than going with a regular subscription. I realized that at that time, like in January 2021, we just had only 165 clients. And these 165 clients brought us more than 15,000 employees actively using system.
Wow.
So that with all the necessary data to offer them something extra, like earned wage access, for example, insurances. Now in pilot mode, we see that one client with average of 50 employees can bring like $500 per month. Like, usually this kind of companies like barely pay $50 a month for subscription. But for fintech solutions, we can generate like 10 times more, which is higher than the regular subscription, right? Which usually does not exceed $100 per month. So it was clear that fintech for employees is way more beneficial than classic subscription. Now we build Clockster the way that it's going to act as a distribution channel to blue collars, to eventually offer new monetization tools through the fintech. So that was the moment when we realized that we have to totally change the approach and focus on something else in order to become bigger.
Yeah, well, that's quite impressive how sticky you guys are and how much the model has changed, has evolved, even from regular HR. Programs.
Well, you see, like frankly speaking, we right now, like we compare to many other HR solutions, especially in Indonesia, they also go towards this monetization through the fintech services as well. But what we are trying to make differently is the way we onboard blue collars and the way we retain them in our ecosystem. So our main difference is that we learned somehow to build this kind of a growth loop machine that keeps all the employees who have resigned from previous companies to remain them in our ecosystem and push them to new companies to join them. So that we kind of creating like a faster growing database of the blue collars. This is what we were able to achieve in Kazakhstan. Like in 1 year, from 15,000 employees, we grew up to 60,000 just within a year. And in Indonesia, just at the beginning of the year, we had like only 600 employees. Now we have almost 6,000, considering that we don't even push much, like in terms of marketing, because we're trying to save money because of this funding winter, etc., to extend our runway. Otherwise, we would grow maybe much more faster.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for showing me more on the ecosystem of Kazakhstan and Indonesia. So I would like to dive deeper into that. Then why do you think, can you name like 3 reasons why Kazakhstan would really be an oasis for startups in Central Asia?
Well, I personally think that in Kazakhstan, we have decent laws and regulations that allow any startup launch faster.
Yeah.
Another thing is the community. It is very small,
Yeah.
Thus, it helps to spread the word faster to boost your growth.
Yeah.
To boost your growth, like for me, if I even though I don't have so many followers on Instagram or like on Facebook, like whenever I post something, I know that there will be so many people who will reshare this, and it will bring so many impressions eventually. And it's just because the startup ecosystem is really tiny. I believe that almost every startup in Kazakhstan knows each other in person. We have also Astana Hub. It's the IT hub that helps. It's similar to Magic Malaysia. In Singapore, I think it's Block 71, right? Who does more or less the similar thing.
Yes.
So that offers also free co-working spaces, community and tax vacations for 5 years, where you literally pay only 1% of a total revenue. That's it.
Okay.
So that helps you to save you pretty significant amount of money, by the way. Also, as I mentioned earlier, we have a fastest growing IT ecosystem, advanced e-government, banking, super apps. All this nurtures a great IT culture. So people are getting used to it, and implementing new ideas is becoming easier. So I think all these aspects make Kazakhstan a pretty good market to, at least to test something, to use it as a playground.
Yeah, it's definitely great to have that lower resistance and so much support. I love that there's really there's a small community, but everyone's just very together and supportive of each other.
Right.
Yeah, and what about Indonesia? So now you're here in Bali. Your team has chosen Indonesia as the first destination in Southeast Asia to expand to. So why was it chosen as the first destination outside of your home country?
Let me start from prehistory, kind of.
Yeah.
In December 2020, when we closed the deal with Quest Ventures, one of our agreements was with Jeffrey, I remember, to launch in Southeast Asia eventually. The Kazakhstani market is good, but even though it's not saturated with similar products, however, it is small and grows slowly in terms of HR product penetration, especially in the SME segment. We could say we would stay in Kazakhstan and maybe in 5-7 years would reach a certain valuation where investors and I would not be satisfied eventually with. And the point is the market has its limits. So it will be, it would be considered as a waste of a time, frankly speaking. I mean, the valuations of the Kazakhstani startups usually do not, barely reach like 10 million or 20 million. And now, like for Quest Ventures to invest a certain amount of money, of course, like they would happy to have something like at the valuation of 100. And that is only achievable, I believe, in such big markets such as Southeast Asia.
So why Indonesia specifically?
So, why Indonesia? In March 2021, we launched our product on AppSumo, the platform that promotes SaaS products with discounts or lifetime deals. So we wanted to test our product outside of Kazakhstan before going anywhere else. And AppSumo was the best option. In 3 months after launch, we sold over 160 licenses, and many of them were from Indonesia, by the way. They also were the Indian clients, Vietnamese and Philippines. But among other Southeast Asian countries, Indonesia is the biggest one, of course. Of course, it's full of competitors. However, we saw that there is a big niche of micro, small, and medium businesses that are still not digitized at all. And all the companies that purchased lifetime deal of Clockster have not used any HR tools before from Indonesia. So that kind of proved that even though that there are many local solutions, still there is enough space to play around. So we decided, why not? We should try. So another thing is that many companies here, they just need a robust attendance and shift management tool and payroll. And the point is, for that, they're not ready to pay $100 per month in average, which is like, for example, Talenta, they charge, I know, like in average 100 per month. Like they start from $100 per month per company. They do provide discounts, but usually, like even with discounts for a company with like 20, 30 employees, paying like $100 per month just for attendance and shift management, it's not really efficient way of spending money. I mean, according to the local culture, as far as I understood. So, of course, like one thing is the price that we had to consider. Like we could offer a lower price because our main goal was not actually the subscription, but the fintech solutions that we wanted to sell. And we thought that this market still have a huge potential, even considering that it's super saturated with similar solutions. Like there is a lot of space for everyone, and it's a bigger one. And we thought that if we'll be able to take like 1% of in our niche, there'll be more than enough for us to consider it successful.
Definitely.
So, and plus, and another thing, sorry, to mention, Quest Ventures is a Singaporean venture fund with the expertise in Indonesia as well. So, of course, we already talked to Jeffrey and Yipi. So, like, they're supporting us all the time. So that's another aspect that we consider, that we're not going there all alone. We have support, so that's important. And they are helping us, connecting us with local players, people, expanding our network, which is good.
Yeah, you guys are growing really fast. You were saying that you had minimal marketing, right? So I'm assuming that 160 was all just organic?
Not really actually. We spent some time on marketing. Like we hired one HR influencer to whom we paid on a monthly basis to, raise the brand awareness in specific areas of Jakarta. And that helped us to onboard a certain number of clients. Now we don't spend on marketing. We just hired like 8 telemarketing people who are just on daily basis, keep on, bothering B2B clients, calling them, offering this tool. And that helps, that really helps.
Cool. And so I'm hearing that Clockster had a lot of successes and there were really a lot of market gaps that you guys could fill and come into. But what about challenges that Clockster faced when first entering Indonesia? And then what was your greatest breakthrough?
Well, I think the challenges that we face are not are the same as many other startups do face when entering new markets. Like one of them is localization of the product. Different rules, different regulations, UI UX standards, demands and approach to clients. But it is not something we cannot do. It's just time taking and depends on local experts we hire to customize the product. Another thing is finding the required people to develop your product. Without knowing a language and cultural aspects, it's difficult to understand the personality. But I think we were lucky to find our first team members who are so passionate about what we do, in fact, and they actually help us to, eventually translate and make these customizations. And we see that as a result, we receive good feedbacks, which means that they're doing their job greatly. And you asked the breakthrough, right? Well, like we had one in the middle of June this year. Just within 2 days, more than 70 middle schools got registered on our platform.
Wow.
All from Pasuruan. It's eastern part of Java Island. How come, you may ask? Like a few months ago, there was one middle school that registered to use attendance and scheduling tools. After a couple of weeks, we saw that they spread the word and, we guess so, and registered another 2 schools. And then we realized that there was some event organized by a chamber of teachers or something like that, where the school director was pitching Clockster to his colleagues. That was it was something surreal, because this guy eventually shared the pictures with us. In those pictures, we saw there was a huge kind of classroom, and hundreds of teachers were sitting there, and he was demonstrating them how Clockster works. Asked to download the app. He was asking them to show the app to the camera. So he took a picture and sent it to us. So like he's kind of our brand ambassador right now, like not official, but we never focused on schools and universities. Even though, by the way, in Kazakhstan, we have 6 schools and 2 universities, but Indonesia, we didn't plan to promote it there among schools. But somehow, naturally, it happened that it happened on its own. And now we want to see how we can push it further with other educational entities throughout the country. And this is something really interesting and something new, I believe. None of these HR platforms that Indonesia has in the market focused on schools or universities before, this approach. So we might become the first ones to, enter this niche.
Yeah. Wow, congratulations. That's really that's a big
feat
achieved by Clockster, and it really says testament to the quality of the product. Yeah. And next would be, without revealing your hand, can you tell our listeners what's in store for Clockster in the next 1 or 2 years?
I previously told that we focusing on building the fastest growing database of the blue collars. One of the things that we want to help to solve is the turnover rate of blue collars, and we want to help both B2B clients to find like part-timers or like full-timers wherever they need in their industries. On the other hand, we want to help job seekers to find faster, better jobs with better conditions, with transparent contracts. So we want to enter the niche of, we want to enter the gig economy eventually. Niche because with that database that we are growing, we can offer something to the market and we can try to solve them the problem. Because, for example, the tool that we have, called OpenShift, it's like when you have, let's say, chain of restaurants, you create morning shift and say you need 10 people. So you can send this to your employees, or you can make it really open, and other people from our database will be able to apply for that, to join a one-day job only and receive money instantly. We are already testing this in Kazakhstan, and I believe we'll be able to launch this here. Yes, the point is this niche doesn't have a prominent leader right now in Indonesia, because the startups that are solving this problem, they just appeared recently, 1 year or half 6 months ago. So it's a pretty new thing. So I believe we are just at the right time right now to prepare ourselves and be one of the leaders eventually in Indonesia. We hope so, at least.
I see. So it will be a job-seeking functionality. Am I understanding right?
It's job seeking, but we focus on daily job seekers who look for daily jobs only, part-time daily jobs, and for only for the open shifts, and F&B in retail industry mostly.
I see. Okay. Wow, that sounds like a very ingenious gap that you're trying to bridge. Cool. And so Clockster sounds like a lot of work. Running a startup is definitely not easy. It requires a lot of perseverance. So my last question for you would be, what would be one thing that really keeps you motivated?
This is actually the question that I wasn't prepared for, because I read this question the time you sent me, but it was difficult to find the right answer. What really keeps me motivated? Sometimes I think that this is my family, my wife, my kids. Sometimes I think I just do it for my own sake, ego. But eventually, before a couple of months ago, I was interviewed by another journal in Kazakhstan, and they asked me the same question. And I remember I told them one thing, which is, I believe, for me, it should be one of the, what do you call it? The truths, let's say, truths be told. The thing that keeps me motivated is I wanted to become an artist in the past, right? And I wasn't able to achieve that because I think it's not because I realized that I wasn't, talented enough, but because I just decided to give up. This time, I promised to myself that the thing that I started, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to finish it eventually. And sometimes you have so many problems that you stumble upon, and sometimes you really want to give up. But I always remember this: hey, you already lost one time. This time you have to win, whatever it takes. So I realized that this is actually the main thing that keeps me motivated, is the promise to myself that I have to win because I lost before. That's it.
I see. No, it's a good thing. This is why people say start failing early on, so that can really push you through push you through in the future. Yeah, and away from work, do you do anything for fun that really keeps you sane?
I'm at the age of 34, and I still play computer games, especially
I love that.
The battle royales, like Call of Duty Warzone, for example, is my favorite.
Yeah.
And I love playing that one, especially. I mean, I don't play it alone. I always call to my friends, and we play it in group of 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah.
We keep on chatting, discussing something. So that's something that keeps me relaxed. I'm not the guy who goes, to karate or gym or yoga or jogging, whatever. I'm the guy who prefers to sit in front of the PC and play the games. That thing that keeps me sane,
I love that. Okay. Well, I've come to the end of the interview. These are all the questions I have for you. But otherwise, thank you so much for your time. And I learned a lot more about Clockster today and what you do. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
I'm your host, Dorothy. And once again, thank you guys for tuning in to Questions With by Quest Ventures. This episode was recorded in Pixel, an incubation and innovation space by IMDA. For more information, visit impixel.imda.gov.sg.